Welcome to the Sounds About Right podcast. I'm your boy Nibs520. This is a show where we 100% give zero fucks. With me, as always, I got my man Nate and Casey with me. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, another week, man.
Hey, just so
Yeah.
that y'all know, I'm here, brother. But right now, as you can see, you can't see me because I'm sort of like the Bears. I ain't showing up.
Oh my God. He hit us with the Chi-Town reference. Hurt my heart today with that loss. My goodness. But you know what? You'll see Keith's picture sitting up there so for those of you who watch us on YouTube, when you see his picture, just because he's having some technical difficulties, but he's still rocking with us, giving us the best he can. So we're gonna start off, with a little bit of sports and entertainment news from this past week. Couple quick hitters, some things that have happened recently. For those who love or watch or follow the Daily Show, the host Trevor Noah of the Daily Show, after 7 years, is hanging it up. He announced last week that the former stand-up comedian from South Africa is shutting it down, man. After taking over for Jon Stewart in 2015, he's been rocking ever since. He's kind of made it his own, but went ahead and announced that he was hanging it up last week. He hinted that the decision to leave the show is rooted in his desire to actually return to more stand-up work, but we'll see from there. Also, there's some Deadpool drama. So, in an interview on the Adam Carolla show, the 41-year-old Deadpool actor T.J. Miller, he's the guy who plays the bartender in the movie, explained his reasons for never wanting to work with Ryan Reynolds again. Says, I love him as a comedian, but I think after he got super, super famous from the first Deadpool, then things changed. He goes on to say that, I guess while they were shooting Deadpool 2, he would make it a point in front of other cast and crew to, deliberately call him out and say shit to him that never makes the movie. But it was personal. It wasn't to his character. It was to him. So he's refusing to do Deadpool 3, which has been announced, is coming out in 2024. In the weekend of sports, for those who don't really follow boxing, but kind of understand what was going on, the big event, which was supposed to take place this weekend, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr., got called off after Conor Benn tested positive for the performance-enhancing drug clomiphene. That was announced on Thursday. For those of you who do not know what that is, myself included, I had to look it up. Google's a beautiful thing. Right. So essentially, what it is a masking drug. It's a cleaner in layman's terms. For people who are using steroids, they typically use this as a washing agent to replace their dirty testosterone with clean testosterone, and that's what Ben was caught using. So they called off that fight, and the lesser known fight on Showtime with Sebastian Fundora defending his WBC interim title. He got a unanimous decision victory over Carlos Ocampo. On the card, it was a family affair. His younger sister, Gabriela Fundora, defeated Naomi Reyes by unanimous decision. This was Gabriela's fifth fight this year. All you male fighters should be ashamed of yourselves. There's a girl out there fighting way more than a lot of you dudes. And
I,
this was
I
her
think it's fair
10th
to say
fight.
she's a woman, man. You find every
Woman,
6 days, you a grown ass woman. All right, I'm done.
right.
Well, if you're fighting that
That
much, I don't want you in my life. That's too much animosity.
part. And to give context to it, it was her fifth fight this year. She turned pro 17 months ago. This was her 10th victory. So just to put, yeah. So she's
Mm.
fighting pretty much every month since turning pro. And then, unless you've been living under a rock, there was the punch heard around the world. Draymond Green punches his teammate Jordan Poole in practice. They initially tried to make it seem like it was something very small. Then TMZ put the video out, and Draymond was in there. Looks like he was the aggressor the whole time. Jordan Poole pushes him out of his way once Draymond gets in his face. Then Draymond lays him out. So that's the kind of the quick hit of news.
I got a
For
question
this
though.
past week. Yeah.
I want to know Nate or Nibs. I need to know if I can use one of y'all Prime, Amazon Prime. And I need to send some red shoes to San Francisco.
I ain't got a prime, bro.
Ah, damn, I still need to send some red shoes to San Francisco to this clown named Draymond Green.
Hey man, you know what, man? Y'all better keep Draymond's name out your mouth. You don't want to get Jordan pulled. That was clean. That was a pretty
Ah,
right hand. I'm just saying. That was a
Well,
pretty right hand.
and let's be clear if Draymond's listening. I ain't Jordan and I ain't Poole.
yo, yo, it's some deep waters over here. You know what I mean?
He might want to keep his hands. Well, first of all, he might want to
Yeah.
stay over there in this area.
You know what I was saying the whole time, right?
But I don't
And I'm like,
condone violence. Let me just say that.
okay.
But I got a quick
I'm saying the
response.
whole time as a dude who grew up where I grew up. You never. I don't give you a fuck if he's your teammate or not. You don't let nobody walk up on you like that
Yep.
and get in your
Yeah,
space.
that was
You know what
Jordan's
I'm
fault.
saying?
And he's sitting there like, like he's cool, turning his head. That was your problem right there.
Yeah,
He should have.
because you could tell Draymond was coming over there wanting to smoke.
Yeah, he was on
Like
some
he was
mess.
coming over.
He should have
Protect
fought.
yourself all times.
Like I said, I don't condone violence, but he should have been prepared. But at that time, he needed Floyd Mayweather to stand right there, like that little devil or the angel on your shoulder, and be like, "Protect yourself at all times."
Oh yeah, yeah. That I'm just saying that was a nice lead right hand, you know, and I don't know.
Mm,
See,
Yeah,
we making too big of a deal about this, man. People gonna fight. It's a sports.
yeah, but
Testosterone gonna
he
go.
ain't had
Who
to fight him
cares?
like that. He was like Superman.
I I mean, Steve Kerr. I mean, Steve Kerr got knocked out by Jordan, and nobody like made a big deal about it
No, we knew
until.
about it, but we're talking about Steve Kerr.
but
Well,
hold on, wait a minute though. These two completely different eras, bro.
Yeah,
The bad boys used to get into actual fights on the court, and no one ever even called a foul for them joints. Like we gonna act like that wasn't a completely different era. Like they were literally throwing bowls on the court.
so hold on. We gonna sit here and all the time people in our era, because old heads, right? You know, we all around 40, so we old heads. I think we are. I don't know how Keith did, but whatever. So we all around that age, and we're always talking about how these players are soft and how they couldn't stand the physicality of the 90s. Now, Draymond brings some of that physicality from the 90s, it channeled his inner Charles Oakley, and laid out his own teammate. It happens. And now we're going to talk about, hey, Draymond, that's bad. Come on, man.
because it was bad. I mean,
We
this
don't know what Jordan said. There was no
no,
audio.
we don't. But first of all, this ain't the '90s. They sort of like clean it. That's where we were going. And regardless of what he said, uh, that's something that just shouldn't be tolerated in a professional sport today.
It happens.
Oh
It
yeah, it
happens.
happens. I think
I mean,
and I think the bigger thing, and I'll play devil's advocate, and we can move on. I'm sorry, but let's think
go ahead.
about this. If it's not filmed, we don't talk about it. Because all those things that we said, how they did in practice, and all those things that occurred, there was no social media to expose it the way that it is today. And believe it or not, somewhere down the line in another practice, somebody's going to get fopped up, I guess you would say, but we probably won't see it. That's what makes it bad.
Man, oh, I guess okay. I see. I see where you're going. The whole video proof thing. I
Yeah.
guess personally, I don't care if there's a video or not. You take what 15 grown men, have them compete against each other every day. If you don't fight, something's wrong. Somebody got to get dropped every once in a while. But
Well,
that's my opinion.
so here's the thing. That amount of physicality. That's what I don't like. I don't think there's not a organized organization, be it high school, college, or the professionals that haven't fought. You're exactly right. But to that extent, where you damn near we have to call the ambulance.
I guess okay. How about this? Draymond should have found somebody who could fight because obviously Jordan Poole was not the correct person to fight.
Yeah. He didn't have
Okay.
to. He didn't have to tool that man like that. Oh, okay. It's too early. Sorry.
Oh, concussion protocol. All right.
Yo, speaking of, good segue, right? The Dolphins can't keep a quarterback healthy, can they? Now Teddy B is out. I
Well,
mean, what the hell?
when they signed Teddy, he was injured. His finger was hurt. Something.
They say they said it was because of the new concussion protocol. So it sounded like it was like, oh, Tua got the back-to-back concussions. There's a problem. We have new protocols, and now we're going to put Tua, or I'm sorry, put Teddy because he hit his head. He's in the concussion protocol. That's crazy, man.
I don't even think the concussion protocol comes to play for Teddy because he stayed hurt.
Yeah. Did y'all see Chris Olave? Whoo.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got the Tua treatment, but to the front of the face, spun around,
Mhm.
still caught the touchdown. Bow, just face on the and yeah, they had like the close up of his eyes. You could tell they were glossed over. He gonna be out for a couple weeks.
Somewhere
Yeah.
David Carr is having flashbacks right now. I'm
I
trying
think
to tell
David Carr sitting
I
somewhere
mean,
saying, "Why didn't I have this protection in my day?" Yeah,
bro, they and I thought our offensive line was bad. And I mean, at least Fields is able to walk off the field at the end of every
Well,
play.
I don't know. I don't know why you even brought them up. I do know this though. I want to pay a little homage to what I consider to be an NFL great, Mr. Dennis Green, former coach, actually of the Vikings at one time, right? I'm sure he was looking down, and in the words of him saying, "The Bears are who we thought they were."
yo, that forced fumble after the
17, that kid.
rip job.
Oh
I forgot
man,
his name.
where did he? He used to be a Viking. Uh,
Who's
Williams
that
something.
boy?
I can't think of. Emir is his first name. That's why I can't think of the kid's name. Like, dude,
Who is
you
that?
did a juke move, get out of bounds, but you want to dance in between three defenders, and they took his lunch money.
Man, old boy made a play. That's what happened. Old boy made a mistake, and then old boy made a
Yeah,
play.
but he was out of
Shot
there.
that
If he'd
man.
have got out of bounds, oh boy, can't make that play.
Whew.
You
That's a
got a
play.
minute and a few seconds left, and you're trying to score, and you want to dance on the sideline.
I want to say this though, and yeah, that he got Debo for the ball at the end of the game,
Yo,
but,
Jay Punk.
but you know, I don't know if you watched the whole game, but I'm gonna tell you, and I'm the biggest Justin Fields fan. He was missing wide open people all day, like
Mhm.
all day. He should
Hey,
have
look,
had. There should have been numerous first downs. He missed a couple of touchdowns. Like I don't know what's going on, but he is not reading. He's not going through his progressions well.
look,
Like
look, look.
you know what I mean?
In the second
So
quarter, y'all were down 21-3, and y'all ended up having a chance at the end of the game to win. That's all you can ask for Justin Fields. I don't care if you miss open wide receiver. He put y'all got it. Y'all had a chance to win. Shout out to your defense and shout out to Justin Fields for that. You ain't getting Tom Brady. You're not getting Aaron Rodgers. Calm down, Nibs. Just calm down and be happy that Justin Fields kept y'all in that game and got y'all back in that game.
he kept us in the game.
Hey, hey, he had some nice throws, man. He had some nice throws.
Or was it the kicker?
Hey, that throw that got y'all in the field goal position to Mooney.
But here's the thing,
That was a
right?
nice play.
He could have. We should have won the game because again, he's getting us down there, right? Like look at last week, right? Field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. He's not punching it in, bro, and he's missing guys who who are either in the end zone or wide open who have lanes to the end zone. His you know what I'm saying? When he's getting these scoring drives, we're settling too often for these field goals, right? And then in addition to that, if it weren't for Montgomery coming back, I don't think we'd have been in this game, to be
So
honest with you.
so question:
That's just me.
How long has Justin Fields been in the NFL? I'm
Two
trying to remember.
years.
Is it 5 years, 6 years?
Oh, here you go.
Dang. I'm
2
pretty sure
years.
you draft a quarterback. There's going to be a progression time. Be happy about what you got, man. I mean, that he had a good. I would
Well,
say he actually had a good game today. Looking numbers, he had a good game today.
yeah, he had a decent game, but
Your
personally,
defense,
and
21-3. Your
I,
defense going to do 21-3 in the
I
second
can't.
quarter.
Man. So here's my thing with Justin Fields, and I'll take this and I'm gonna talk about a guy in the AFC North as well with this. And it's an unfortunate situation for this guy. I really do think, and people may not agree with it, but Mitchell Trubisky should still be the Bears quarterback. Justin Fields should be getting some type of tutelage and coming behind him because he's not ready. Um, we have these teams that are so eager because they draft these guys, and I get it, and they want to put them out there on the field, but they're not doing what you said. They're not doing the right reads. They're not hitting the open player, and they're not punching it in. Same thing for the kid, and I don't know. We'll see next week, I guess, because Buffalo is a tough defense. I get it, but if you're going to sit Mitchell Trubisky down and then put a Kenny Pickett in there, and you get one field goal. Since when did Pittsburgh start bowing out like that to Buffalo at any time? Even a slow-footed Ben Roethlisberger would have had more than 3 points.
But I mean, well, that goes to your point. I mean, like we always talk about this, and now we got our poster boy. It used to be Ryan Tannehill. He was the flunk out in Miami. Then he was Mister
Mhm.
take a team to playoffs in Tennessee. And now we got Geno Smith uh, looking more like Russell Wilson than Russell Wilson does out there in Seattle. I mean, they don't
Can't even
remember who
blame
Russell
him
Wilson
for their
was.
loss today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so you looking at that, these older guys who didn't get a chance after a while. Yeah, no, it's a fact. But when it comes down to is that's who if you're going to start the rookie, if you're going to start the young guy, don't hate on the young guy just because he shows growing pains. You hate on him, and then guess what happens? Y'all drafting another quarterback, and probably the wrong one of the draft
Uh,
yet again.
no one's
So
hating on him. I think it goes to. I think our preference and I live with let them learn.
yeah.
And learning and growing pains does not have to occur on the field. And I liken that to getting hit by a car. I don't need to get hit by a car to know that it hurts.
So then, then what you need to do is you need to take it up with the NFL Players Association and tell them that they need to renegotiate the way that they do rookie contracts. Because what's happening is they want to, the rookies have their controlled money. Your first round pick, you have to make a decision for the club option. I believe it's in year 5. So you have to know what you have
It's,
before that
but
point. So it's money
that's
driven.
about the dollar, right, though, Nate? That's all about the dollar.
Well, this is a business. I mean, everybody gets it messed up thinking that football is some club or something. The
Okay.
Chicago Bears do not play football for you other than to earn your money. The San Francisco 49ers do not play football
How long did
for my entertainment. They do it for the money. The 49ers do it for the money. The owners earn it for the money. I- If the team's good, the fans are happy, that just means more money.
how did
But
question a couple of
mhm,
questions actually. How did
mhm.
Tom Brady get on the field for the Patriots?
Drew Brees got hurt. Oh, Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Drew Bledsoe got hurt,
Yeah.
but they wasn't calling for Drew Bledsoe's job. They wasn't saying, "Hey, let's go with this rookie because we need or this guy because we needed him out there." Tom Brady would have still been playing, but if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, he's playing behind him and he's learning, right?
Weren't you just talking about eras a little bit ago with basketball?
Well, okay. Well,
Different era. The era you're
so
talking about there is the era where they drafted Steve McNair and let him sit for 3-4 years. The era
okay.
you talk about there is where Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre
How
for
did
3-4 years.
okay? Since he's pretty sharp there. All right. Well, here you go, sir. How did Patrick Mahomes get on the field?
Patrick Mahomes got on the field because they drafted him, saw something in practice. He sat on the field because the Chiefs
And
did not make the playoffs, and then they started him in week 17. Alex Smith,
of the what year? What season?
It was his rookie year. He played in the last game of his rookie season because they did not. I think it's because they weren't going to make the playoffs, and
Right, they was
you
going to
know,
get a
we'll see what
chance
they
to
had.
see him, but it wasn't like someone was calling for his job, right? So but the whole point is that it's okay to sit and learn. Uh, and these players, these guys now, because they're getting these people in who's actually been through the fold and been through the fire. And you referenced like
Mhm,
Tannehill got ran out of Miami, and I think he did pretty good when he went to
mhm,
Tennessee, right? They were pretty decent.
mhm.
But he probably could have still been in Miami. Same thing with Trubisky. My point is that I feel like Trubisky had enough wins and enough experience that if he was going to have someone take those growing pains, let it be someone that's been through the fire. Uh, versus if you bring these guys out, like they can actually go to bus.
Mhm. Well, and I think something else has to be. You have to understand the players' characters too. Now, I remember reading a story as a 49ers fan. Alex Smith, number one overall pick in the year that Aaron Rodgers was drafted. Alex Smith had a miserable first portion of his rookie contract, and he was potentially somebody who was going to get cut after a couple of years, right? And he was one of the guys that you just threw in the fire and let him go. He knew he wasn't doing that good. He went to the ownership and he said, "Look, I know I'm not playing up to my standards. I know if I'm not playing up to my standards, I know I'm not playing up to your standards. Let's renegotiate my contract." So he renegotiated his contract so he'd have a chance to still be a quarterback. Alex Smith, I think that's a person like if you talk to anybody who's a fan of the Commanders, the Chiefs, the 49ers, high character guy. He went in, he did that. It allowed him to then continue his career. So you would have to have somebody who goes in and says, "Hey, you know what? I know I'm not doing my job after 4 years, and I'll take less money." So if you had somebody who's sitting behind, there's a lot of money invested here, man. Like this is not like it's not short money, and they have to make a decision quick. The other thing you have to remember, if you're drafting high enough in the draft to get a top quarterback, if you're drafting in the top 10, chances are your football team's not that good. That means you don't have a lot of options at quarterback. That means you're changing your coaches up every year. Let me know when this sounds familiar to y'all as Bears fans. No, you got new coaches coming in and out all the time. You got new quarterbacks coming in and out all the time. You got new offensive coordinators, new defensive coordinators, new quarterback coaches. That's because your organization is not run well. So if you think that, oh well, why are we starting this quarterback? It's because your organization's not doing their job, and of course they're going to make mistakes with it. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents on it. Is yeah, bad teams are always in this position. It's always the same teams. It's been the Bears. It's been the Jets forever. It was all those teams. It's always the same teams in the same
Wait a
problem.
minute. Pineapples, stop the car. Wait a minute. You're not going to put the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets in the same sentence as
Oh,
far
I
as
just did.
performance.
I just did.
I have a
Chicago
problem with that.
Bears last. Oh, let's see, playoff appearance. Let's see. I'm typing right now on my Google, showing up right here. Let's see.
Well, you know, Google is like a bathroom wall. Anybody can put something on it.
So, when was the last time y'all made the playoffs? Google doesn't even know. Let me see.
Oh, he's saying,
He in here talking mad shit
uh,
today, ain't he?
I mean, like,
Man.
really think about. I mean, like, I think the Jets were more formidable recently, like the Rex Ryan years. I mean, y'all had the
did
Rex
you really
Grossman
just say
years.
that?
Yeah, at least they had like
He did.
yeah.
He did.
Like, oh, when was the last time the Bears
2010.
won a playoff game? 2010 against the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, so
And when did
then
the Jets win one?
let's see. New
You know that they was
York
probably riding carriages.
Jets. Uh, Jets last
Vinny
playoff game.
Testaverde was the quarterback.
Oh, how about this? I think y'all belong in the same sentence because their last playoff appearance was 2010.
No, win versus appearance is two
Oh, that was
different
appearance.
things, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, 2010 was the last time they were in. Let's see.
And they ain't won since the Flintstones been on.
When was the last time Jets won a playoff game? Oh, New York Jet. Wait, it's New York Jets. In 2010, New York Jets beat the New England Patriots in the divisional
I'm
round.
sorry, I can't hear you. Say that again.
When was the last time the Jets won the playoff game? In 2010, the New York Jets beat the New England Patriots in the division round.
Oh, jeez.
So I think y'all belong in the same sentence.
Not at all.
Like I think that qualifies, right? Like 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 y'all won the same year. How many quarterbacks have y'all had? How many quarterbacks have the Jets had? How many coaches have y'all had? How many coaches have the Jets had since then? I'm just saying. I'm not here to pick on y'all. I'm just here to put a spotlight on the reality of y'all situation.
That's not a good
Just
reality.
86 Bears, baby. Yeah, the fridge. There you go.
Okay,
Sweetness,
first off, it was the 85 Bears.
whatever.
Let's put some respect on their
I was
name.
3.
Um,
No, I'm just
and
that was sweet. 85 Bears. Okay, the Super Bowl was in 86. My bad. My bad. The Super Bowl was in 86. 85 Bears.
how dare you? How dare you, sir?
They're such a memorable team. Great,
Well,
great music video too.
before we wrap up football, I want to get you guys' take on something really quick. We before we went over who we thought was going to be, the leaders of the division. So I kind of want to give a rundown on where we were at, right? And the NFC West, it was pretty much a who's who, right? The Niners right now at 3-2 are running shit. That's why Nate's out there pumping his chest out because Jimmy G is out here running his ship. Anyway,
Trey was doing
then
the same thing.
AFC West, Kansas City. We all thought Kansas City was going to come out of there, so no no big deal there. NFC South, we all thought Tampa Bay was going to be doing it, so there's that. AFC South, the Titans are 3-2. They're running the ship. NFC North, hey, there we go. Vikings at 4-1. You know what I mean? So we kind of all thought Green Bay was going to be running the ship, and Green Bay's they look like they're going backwards these last couple of weeks, but the Vikings at 4-1. As painful as that game was to watch today, then AFC North right now, obviously the Bengals and Ravens are battling out for number one right now as we speak, and then I think this to me the surprise of the entire NFL is the NFC East, which we called the NFC least in our first episode, was Philly at 5-0 and an impressive 5-0 at that. And then of course, the Bills at 4-1. So with those records as they are right now, as I've read them off to you guys, do you see or does that change your mind and who you kind of feel is going to be the favorites come playoff time? Keith, I'll give you the run on that.
You know, I think there's still a lot of parity right now in regards to who we could possibly see in the playoffs. I still like the Buffalo Bills. Still like Chiefs. San Francisco. I talked about that, and I still like Minnesota Vikings coming out. And we can't forget, and I still have them somehow reaching the Super Bowl, the LA Rams. I don't know how they're going to pull it out, but I still have them doing that. And I think I said it was going to be a repeat, them going against the Chiefs again. Um, but I will
They
say
looking rough.
this. Say that again.
I said they looking rough right now.
Yeah, but it's still early. It's only the first what? This is really like the first quarter of the season almost. Now that they're playing friggin' almost 20 games. So still like the first quarter, almost a third of the season. Now, with that, like I said, there's still a lot of parity. But I want to go on record, and I know this isn't about the playoffs, but you mentioned a team out of the NFC East. Uh, those guys from Philly, the Eagles, being at 5-0. Jalen Hurts MVP.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it if you'd have said that before the season, I'd have told you were smoking something. But the
I
way
still
it's
could be
looking right
smoking
now,
something, but
you could check his cup. Check his cup, ladies and gentlemen. What's in that? Nate, do you agree? What's going on? What's your take on that so far?
Oh, so we gonna start off with this Jalen Hurts thing. MVP maybe. I mean, 5 games if he can keep it up. Um, so but I mean, if he can keep it up, it's 5 games. Like I always say, I don't care till week 9. So it's hard for me to say something
Really
there.
quick, not to interrupt you, but the Bengals just tied it up, so
Shit,
that is
Joe
a
Burrow.
NFC. late in the fourth quarter. So
Mm.
that's coming down to a classic Bengals Ravens game. Continue. I'm
Oh
sorry, I
yeah.
just wanted to make that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And NFC North right there, AFC North right there. So the couple of things. So I mean, Jalen, let's see. I mean, the Eagles quarterbacks have done this before. I mean, I remember Carson Wentz looking like a Hall of Famer for the first half of the season, and then forgetting how to play football for the last half. Let's see what happens. I want to see what goes on there. I don't think I'm not putting Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz in the same category by any
I was
stretch.
going to say that definitely was an
No,
apple to an orange.
no, no. I mean, Jalen Hurts is. I mean, he's a high character guy, right? I mean, a very high character guy and a great leader. Let's see how it goes, though. A couple of things I'd like to point out. Um, Everybody laughing at me about the Colts. The Colts are 2-2. Their wins have come against the AFC West, including the Chiefs and the Broncos. Okay, so I just want to point that out for the Colts. I think they still have a shot
Well,
here.
they I'm
Turn around.
sorry, quick question. They two,
Mhm.
2-1, right?
2-2-1. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still in it. I would also say watch out. So, and here I go. Right, I'm like not even talking about the favorites. I'm not even talking about any of the leaders. Um, the Raiders at 1-3. Watch out, man. I think they're going to have a season where you're going to see them over the next 4 games go 2-2.
And yet you
Check his
and
And
you
cup.
then
and
hold
yet
on,
you
hold
all
on,
saying check my cup. You need to
hold
check
on.
his blood.
2-2. Over the next 4 games, the Raiders will probably be. I'm saying now. I'm going to say they're going to be 2-2. They're going to be 500. The next 4, they're going to be 3-1, and then they're going to finish out the season with a 4-1 run. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be dangerous. That's a good football team. You can't have a good football team down that long. They're going to figure it out. They have the tools. I think they're going to end up making a run. So Las Vegas, Oakland, don't worry. The Raiders are going to come around. And I would like to say,
Did Al Davis like send you down some type of blessing?
I got an endorsement. No, I'm just joking. Um, then I would say, no, I really believe that because I really think they're the best all-around football team in that division. I just think the Chiefs are going to win it because they have the best coach. Um, I think the Broncos are now. I will say I think the Broncos are done, and they got to look at Russell for a refund.
Well,
Because he has
do
too
they
much
look at
talent on
Russell
left.
or do they get rid of it? And not to interrupt, but do they look at him or is Hackett that guy Hackett out of there?
You can't get so here's the deal, right? They're not gonna be able to get rid of Russ because they gave up the capital. It's a lot
Right.
easier to cut a coach, to fire a coach than
So
cut Russell
Daniel
Wilson.
Hackett is gone.
But is that right? Now that's a business move that they're going to make because it's easier money wise and resource wise and asset wise.
Hey, you never
But
know. I got hired at McDonald's to do fries, and they told me to clean the lobby. I said I wasn't here for that, so they told me not to come back. Is that right?
I'm just saying, man. Like I see where you're going. I just you have Jerry Judy, you have Cortland Sutherland, and you can't like get an offense rolling. Like
Wait, don't
and
and
and,
don't
and
forget, and then don't forget Hamler. I'm sorry, you gotta,
Hamlin, good job. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. They got the pieces. All right. And then the other team I want to say, and a team I said at the beginning of the year that I said was going to give people problems that y'all said check your cup. New York Giants. Danny Dimes is out here keeping his career alive as a starter. 4-1. I don't know, man. They're tricky. They beat the Packers today. I mean, the Packers are a team that everybody says, and we said is going to be somebody. I still think the Packers pull it out and win the AFC, the NFC North, but still. And then, so I just want that one. And the other thing is that you want to talk about MVPs. I hate to say this because I don't like them, but what about Cooper Rush, man? Like, Mr. Undefeated in his career, the Cowboys. What's going to happen when Dak comes back and loses a game?
I just want to point something out really quick before Keith,
Mm,
before you respond to that, because I know you're ready for it. Right now, the NFC least has
this is a
the
tough
best record in the NFL. You got the Eagles at 5-0, the Cowboys at 4-1, and Cowboys and Giants both at 4-1. Now, yeah, the Commanders are 1-4, but their their point differential based on other teams in the league, you could put the Commanders in a different division. They might be three and or 3-2, 2-3. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's not the least right now. It looks like they're doing the most. Keith, what's your response to that, man? I just wanted to make that
Smoke and mirrors, man. They still an NFC lease. They still are the NFC lease. But I will say it looks very familiar. There was a time when New York Giants flew up under the radar with Eli, and they actually went to the Super Bowl and won it.
Against like an undefeated Patriots team, right?
Yeah.
One of them.
So that New York Giants team is kind of scary because their history allows them to fly up under the radar like that. They always end up with a Super Bowl ring. A couple of times because you think about it, the times when they won those Super Bowls with Eli, they were not favorites.
When was Eli's last Super Bowl? They pull this off once a decade. I'm realizing that in my head right now. I'm playing with it in my head right now, and I'm
point. You know,
realizing
you know,
those Phil Sims. There we go. Teams in like the 80s, 90s. Like I think was one. No, one of them was not 89. My bad. So we had like that, and then you know in the 2000s. If one of those was in 2010, I mean they're due for their once a decade Super Bowl. I don't know how that works.
let,
I'd have
let
to
me
double
ask
check
you
that.
this, right?
He did it
While,
in
while we're talking about
2008 and 2012.
Well, we're talking about the Giants and the NFC East, right? And Philly and you brought up Cooper Rush, and I want to ask you guys this: if Dak comes back healthy, do you put him back in right away? The way Cooper Rush is playing right now,
So who's cut?
not what you think is going to happen. I would say if you were the coach, right? Respond as if you were the coach. What would you do, Nate? Go ahead.
Cooper Rush will be back over there taking notes.
So I think so. Here's the deal. What do I think should happen? Put him in. What do I think will happen? Put him in. Come on, Dak. You got the money. You got Mr. Game Manager backup quarterback over here. Winning games every week. Last year he won the game again on Sunday night against the Vikings. He didn't. So I'm just saying,
There's an
like,
unwritten rule in the NFL about quarterbacks and coming back from injury. Injured quarterback should not lose his starting job. But more importantly, if someone can look me in the face, and unfortunately, I'm having technical difficulties. But if someone was able to look me in my face and tell me that you will pick a Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott any day of the week, I definitely will have you admitted to some type of
look.
home to get a psychiatric assistance.
So first off, there's that unwritten rule, right? But as a 49ers fan, I do remember a season when Alex Smith was going the extra yard, trying to get a first down in a big game. I believe it was against the Rams. Took a shot in the back of the head, had a concussion, and then he never started for the 49ers again. And they ended up playing for the Kansas City Chiefs because it was Colin Kaepernick time. Um, but on that note, I mean, do I think no, I'm saying Dak, it's time to yeah, go in, play. But what I want to see what happens is what is the reaction of the Cowboys fans, the NFL, and Jerry Jones if Dak
See,
loses.
the latter is the problem right there because of the Jerry Jones. He would probably try to
But
get a
I
Cooper
don't
Rush
know.
and then he
Dak
would pay for it.
No, I would say Jerry Jones in his career has been loyal to almost a fault. I mean, look at the patience he had with Tony Romo. Look at the patience he had with that coach. What was that coach's name?
Barry
Oh
Switzer,
no, no, with
Jimmy
Romo.
Johnson.
No, he messed up with Jimmy
Are you
Johnson.
talking about the redhead, Garrett?
Yeah, yes, thank you, him. Look at the patience he had with him. That was, I mean, he has that patience. He's a very loyal guy to his players and his people.
So is that a bad thing or a good thing?
It's been bad and it could be good because I think it was misguided with Garrett. I think it was misguided with Romo. I think it with Dak, it will bring him back and he will be loyal to Dak. Because I think Dak's his guy. But I think that we have to see. I mean, because Dak hasn't really. I mean, if we
I
really
don't
look at it,
know.
really
I
look,
think
what has
Romo
Dak
gave him
actually done to? to earn this top 10 quarterback untouchable rating.
You don't
I
think
mean, I don't
Romo
know.
gave them a lot of? I think Romo gave them a lot of hope, but more importantly, as a Cowboy owner,
He
Romo
won
did
playoff one.
something that was very important, which was help them get cheeks in the seats. People were coming out to see these Cowboys,
People always want to come out to see the Cowboys. People coming out to see the Cowboys since the 70s.
but they actually
Uh,
like Tony Romo. And speaking of Tony
we
Romo,
all
from
love Tony Romo. I mean, he's the amazing color analyst. We all
I was
love Tony
that's
Romo.
where I was going with that. Think about that. From an analyst, he knows the game and he knew the game.
Let's say something.
But you know what? There are a lot of NFL guys
Point
who
for it.
know football. They get into analyst jobs and they suck ass. Tony Romo is actually pretty fucking good. Like
Exactly.
if we're giving him his
Tony.
flowers, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, and he was
And
and I
Tanya
was
just said we do not all love Tony Romo. Apparently, she's not on the
two.
Tony Romo train.
It's okay. She's hiding it. 2-4. Tony Romo in the playoffs. Oh, I did check something by the way. This is scary. You know what we talking about? Like the Giants thing, like the random year, the random good year thing. Super Bowl victories: 87, 91, 2008, 2012. They get a good team once a decade. I think it was a 2012 year. That was the year I think they beat the Patriots, and also the year that Kyle Williams fumbled 2 punt returns in the NFC Championship game for the 49ers and gave them a chance there. So the, the Giants have this weird luck, man. Just don't count them out. I'm just saying.
And you know
Baltimore
what's
Ravens
it's
got the
funny you
ball on the
said that.
Cincinnati 25 right now with 3 seconds left. Looks like they're
Oh yeah,
getting
I'm
ready to
watching.
kick a game field goal.
Oh, you mean Justin Tucker? So automatic? Yeah, it's over. Let's move on.
Yeah. So
Another
I want to get you
franchise
guys
is like that.
final takes on the football thing really quickly. Obviously, I think we're all in unison on Dak getting his job back due to the injury, right?
Mhm.
Do you see Cooper Rush playing somewhere else or getting a big deal based on how he played for the Cowboys this season? Do you see him playing and starting somewhere else next season?
I got
Idiot.
I got two words for you.
Hmm.
Nick Foles.
I don't see it.
You
Good
think
try.
you think Cooper Rush is going to have like a Nick Foles type year, like Nick did with the Eagles?
No,
Is that
he's
what you're
gonna
trying to
go
say?
somewhere and get a Nick Foles type check, and ain't gonna be nothing.
Oh, oh, you going with that right? I think actually what I think is that I think Dak comes back after all that stuff talking.
All right,
I
you
think
guys
Dak's going
was
to
right
come back.
about that kicker.
He's but Dak's back. Dak's going to do his thing. Cooper Rush is going to get a deal. I think he's going to end up in Indy, and maybe he can be the quarterback there if Matt Ryan's not. All roads lead to Indianapolis with me this year. That's just what it is every show. Yeah.
He will not get off the Colts. I'm trying to tell you,
Well, they're the only team with
fellas.
the rotating quarterback. Hey. Hmm.
Let's go ahead and pivot on over to some baseball talk. This last week, and a couple weeks before that, obviously, with the record coming up, there's the Aaron Judge talk. We got Aaron Judge. He hit 62 home runs to break the AL record. Most people are considering his record the most legitimate of all the previous record holders. If you look at the guys who are at the top, you got Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa's on the list 3 times, McGwire twice. Barry Bonds is at the lead with 73. Everybody puts an asterisk next to those 3 guys' accomplishments. And they're saying Aaron Judge is really the true home run king. However, some people think that's garbage. Nate, you're the baseball guy. I know your love for baseball, man. What's your take on this Aaron Judge business?
So, if we're gonna put an asterisk on anybody's name, and we're gonna start doing that, then I'm smelling something fishy in the MLB. All right, so I was reading an article a little bit ago. I was refreshing it because I read it last year or earlier this year. December 2021 report says that MLB used 2 different baseballs. Some are tight, got a lot of flight on them. Some of them are looser and spend a lot of time in the humidor, which is usually used in Phoenix and in Denver. The whole point is to make it, because those are higher elevations, to reduce the home runs, to make it more like playing at a more typical ballpark. Um, I might be calling the MLB up and saying, "Hey, I want to report. I want to know about the baseball batches used for not only Aaron Judge in August forward, but also for Albert Pujols in August forward." And I hate to say that because I love Albert Pujols. But nobody cared about baseball this year. Nobody. I don't remember hearing any articles, reading any articles, any talk show about it. This was one of the lowest watched baseball years, lowest interest baseball years I can ever remember. And then all of a sudden, August happened, and a man who hit 17 home runs, no more than 17 home runs since 2016, all of a sudden had 18 in August, September, and October. His name was Albert Pujols, by the way. He had more home runs since August to October than he had in any full season. Aaron Judge, all of a sudden, started hitting a lot more home runs. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't having a great year before that, but all of a sudden, he started hitting a lot more home runs at the end of the year. And then people started talking about baseball again. I would not put it past them. I mean, especially since just last season, a report said that they were using tighter baseballs for more home runs and lower to so there'd be more home runs so fans would watch in prime time, and then using the regular baseballs in less televised games. I mean, if we're going to talk asterisks, there's one. And then also I would say something else. I would say the real number 61, and that belongs to Roger Maris. Because Roger Maris is the only person who did this when nobody wanted him to. People forget Roger Maris was hated when he was going for a 61. He was booed when he hit his 61st home run in his home stadium. Because nobody wanted Roger Maris to be the one to break the Babe's record. They wanted to be Mickey Mantle. Aaron Judge hits number 62 on the road in Texas and gets a standing ovation. To me, 61 is the number still. No steroids used in 60 in no steroids could have been used. There was no playing with baseballs. Nobody even wanted him there, and he was there. So if you're gonna start throwing asterisks on stuff, if you're gonna start putting asterisks on anything, then I guess the number's still 61.
Keith,
There you go.
what? I hear you laughing. What's going on with you, man?
Babe Ruth stayed high and drunk every game.
Oh, I didn't say Babe Ruth. I said Roger Maris.
But
Babe
I'm
Ruth
just
didn't even
saying,
play against somebody.
Babe
Babe Ruth,
Ruth stayed high and drunk every game.
and he had,
He
but
was
that was,
drinking between the games, during the games.
and he also played in an era where
And
he did
who's
not
to
see.
say that? And who's to say that Maris didn't use something? We don't know. Here's my thing and my take. When you talk about the home runs, and I know people probably don't want to hear this, um, it's Barry Bonds, buddy. Overall, Barry Bonds, and there it still is. And honestly, just the reason why he has this asterisk is really based off of an interview. They never really tested Barry Bonds, and he tested positive.
Balco.
Yeah, right. But did they test Barry Bonds, Valco? But did they test him and he tested positive, or did they just?
If you're going there, I mean, actually, if you want to be perfectly blunt, the use of steroids was not banned in that time. So using steroids in the steroid era was not against the rules. You could not be suspended for it. You could not be cut for it. You couldn't miss a paycheck for it.
So what do steroids
It was
do?
frowned on.
What are steroids? What does steroids do for you?
Bigger, stronger, faster, man.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Hmm.
All right, bigger, stronger, faster. I wish you could see my shirt. I actually have that on my shirt. Uh, but here's the thing: I don't care how big, how fast, or how strong you are. You still have to have hand-eye coordination to hit the ball.
So with that, right? No, that's a very good point. And hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. However, if you have ability to hit a baseball, if you have the hand-eye coordination, you have the swing and all of that, and Barry Bonds had power beforehand. You add power to that. Now all of a sudden you have the talent, the natural ability, the hard work, and you added a little extra something. What ends up happening is you end up hitting a ball that might have been a regular fly ball to left. It's 5 rows deep. A ball that might have been warning track, now all of a sudden it's in McCovey Cove. So that's where that comes from. Also, I mean, let's not be but at the same time, the pitchers were using it too. So they were throwing the ball faster as well. So I mean, all of that goes into play. I mean, really, I understand that. What I'm saying is that if you're going to put an asterisk on anybody until the MLB shows me that they used the same balls all year round for every game, the same not the same
They
dimension
can't.
dimensions, and they there they do. They have batches, and every ball is every ball from a batch is it's all tracked. So if that's how they were able to go back and see that the batches that were used last year, they found it out in December. They went back and checked the batches and saw that they were using the wrong balls. I'm saying, and it's kind of tarnished a little
So
bit,
why were
not
they
even by.
created then? So
Mm-hmm,
here's my thing.
mm-hmm.
Makes for me, how can you say you use the wrong batch, but you're aware that a particular batch is made? Why are you making that batch?
So what baseball did last year. So there's one batch of balls that's used in the game that's supposed to be used in the game, and they have one qualification. They have certain tightness and all this other stuff. The idea is a looser ball, a loosely stitched baseball
Won't go as far.
will not go as far, will not go as fast. A tighter stitch baseball will go farther. So what happens, and this is what MLB did last year in a report, it was read off of CBS Sports. What they did is they were getting low ratings. So what they did is they switched the batches from the looser, the dead ball, and they put in a juiced ball, a tighter one, so that there would be more home runs. A game that was pointed to in the article was last year's Field of Dreams game with the White Sox, and I forgot who it was. I know the White Sox were there. All of a sudden, the ball was flying out the ballpark, so they went back and then MLB. They were able to go back to the batch and see, yeah, they were using juice balls in this game. So they
Not
did that in prime
bad.
time to raise ratings. If
So who's to say that didn't occur
mhm.
before? I don't see it just happening one time.
Well,
It
and what
sounds
I'm
like
saying is
they
that
have control.
I would suspect that if they did that last year, what's to say they wouldn't all of a sudden start doing that with Albert Pujols and Aaron Judge this year and start
So
using juice balls in their
exactly.
games?
You think because I think about baseball ratings right now, since you know, and I'm
Mhm.
leaning to
Low,
what you just said, they haven't
low,
been pretty good this year.
low.
Uh,
Since August, they went up a lot, right? Like
I
people start
would
paying
I would
attention to
go up a
baseball.
lot too if Aaron Judge is hitting 60 home runs in two
Hmm.
months because they done
Oh
threw a
yeah,
bunch of juice
yeah.
balls out there.
See, so that's what I'm saying is that's why I'm calling into question. I want to know, like last year, the report came out in December. I want to see proof that they didn't use juice balls in these games.
We'll never
Let
Now,
me
know.
ask you this question,
yeah.
guys. Let me ask you this, right? So
Mhm,
you guys bring up a lot of good points. The steroids era, it is what it is. Everybody was juicing, right?
mhm,
This ball situation that you're bringing up,
mhm,
everybody had to play with that, right? So let me ask you this: was there an advantage? Because that's what we're getting to, right? It's not like if Barry Bonds was juicing, if Mark McGuire was juicing, if Sammy Sosa was juicing, right? And
mhm,
all the pitchers who were throwing to them were juicing, all the guys in the outfield were juicing. Everybody's using the same bats, etc. Right?
mhm.
There's really not an advantage. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
If
For
I
home
have a
runs,
if
yes.
I have a pitcher who usually throws 80 to 85 mile per hour, and now he's throwing 100 mile per hour heat, you know what I'm saying? And so there's really not an advantage. And then you
I
take
disagree with
take
that.
the Aaron Judge situation. He's getting different balls. Maybe they're not as
Mhm,
juicy as they were, back in Barry's day. And Keith, I want to get your take on that first, and then we'll close with Nate here. Do you think that it really is that big of an advantage when you consider all things, not just the guys who are hitting the home runs, but everyone involved? Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I think it's an advantage. Uh, and honestly, it's like we're having a discussion about baseballs being juiced or not. Or we're talking about players who were quote unquote juicing or using these steroids. There's always been some type of uh, underhand when it comes to the game, be it from the MLB or be it from the players. There's always some type of underhand. And now, what's happening is that we pick and choose, and it really comes down to character. I think who we want or who we say is justified uh, in being legit when it comes to these home runs, right? Um, I think it's a bunch of crap, personally. I still say Barry Bonds is because of hand-eye coordination. When it comes to hitting the home runs, I think he was one of the better home run hitters in the game, the best home run hitter. I arguably, and even with a lot of that turmoil, I think about that summer when Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa was going at it, hit after hit. The game was exciting. It was exciting. It's not until someone comes along and say, "Oh, well, they was juicing or they was doing this." Either you allow it or you don't allow it. I still say, regardless of if it's allowed or not, hand-eye coordination. I don't care how big, faster, and stronger you get. You do not make contact with the baseball if you do not have. That's an actual skill set.
Yeah, you're talking about the 98 and 99 seasons for Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, where they went back to back years over 60
It's just
plus
that I think
apiece.
the MLB they got their hands in too much stuff, and I think they're I get it. Some of the stuff that they do, they're like, oh, they want to own it, but then it's like they can own it, but don't say nothing to us. But then if one of these other players were to own it or something like that, then it's like, no, that was bad, and we're going to hold you accountable for being bad. And I know this is not on subject in regards to home runs, but I think about. Uh, Pete Rose, one of the greatest athletes to play baseball, and they're trying not to let us hear his name for gambling, which is now something that's done all over.
Unless you're a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, don't do that.
Right, that part. As I mean, yeah, I mean it's a good solid take. Nate, what's your response, bro?
So here's the deal, right? So I'm when you're talking about home runs in the steroid era, yes, I do think it's impact. Now, here's one of the things that I'm trying to do here with what I'm saying, just to be specific. If you, what I'm saying is that if you are going to put Barry Bonds's an asterisk on Barry Bonds's numbers, let's be fair. He didn't break any rules, even if he did use steroids. Even if he came out tomorrow and said I had special steroids made for me to enhance my abilities, he didn't break a rule. So if you're gonna put an asterisk on Mr. Bonds because nobody likes him, let's go ahead and look at some people that people do like. Let's look at something that Aaron Judge can control. Show me the baseballs. But um let's go to the steroid thing first. I want to address that. The reason why that can impact your home runs, because you're completely right, Keith. Hand-eye coordination is key. However, if the ball's thrown faster, if the bat's swinging faster, the ball's going to go farther. Steroids will help the ball be thrown at you faster. It'll help your bat speed. Bat speed plus pitch speed equals really far home
So
runs.
who's to say that
Okay.
the pitchers that was throwing the ball wasn't they was throwing
Oh,
faster
there was.
than they normally would throw, and the ball was going to go the faster it
Oh,
goes, and the contact on
oh,
the bat it goes out.
oh. Yeah. The faster the ball, if you make contact with the harder like I remember this being taught when I played baseball when I was a kid. The faster the pitch is thrown, the harder the ball is hit. It's just a fact. So
Oh
yes,
yeah,
taking steroids means that you throw the ball harder. Hand-eye coordination. If you have elite hand-eye coordination, which Barry Bonds had, Barry Bonds had to have the most elite hand-eye coordination possibly of any athlete ever. Maybe Ted Williams. Sorry, if you go old school.
yeah.
He
I'm thinking
also
maybe
had
Ken
quick
Griffey
hands.
Jr., but I'll roll with you on Ted
Oh,
Williams.
I'll get to Ken Griffey in a second, but yeah, but yeah, okay, Ken Griffey, um, and Barry Bonds, quick swing. He had a quick swing as well, generated for home runs. So if you do that, and if you are taking steroids and you have that elite hand-eye coordination, and you hit it, the ball's coming faster and your bat speed is increased, the ball's going to go out the ballpark a lot more. Like I said earlier, pop-ups to left are now in McCovey Cove. So that's where the steroids parts come in. So if you're going to put an asterisk next to Barry Bonds, okay, let's look at something else then. So when on Aaron Judge, this is actually not even Aaron Judge, unfortunately. I'm using Albert Pujols as probably the most loved player in baseball history. I mean, like recent history. Like everybody loves Albert Pujols, and I might, you know, MLB might put a hit on me for doing this, but I'm looking at something, and I was looking at career stats for Albert Pujols the last few years. Last year he had 17 home runs. In 2020 he had 6. That was abbreviated season. He had 23 home runs in 2019, 19 home runs in 2018, 23 in 2017, 31 in 2016. This year, he had 24 home runs. He had 2 home runs in April, 2 home runs in May, no home runs in June, 3 home runs in July. By the way, he thought about leaving the game early in June. In June, he thought about just walking away and not finishing the season. July, he had 3. August, he had 8. September, he had 7. In a couple of games, he had 2 home runs in October. So that means that in that abbreviated part of the season, this man hit 17 of his home runs. Going back, he was struggling to do that in an entire season in 2021. And in 2019, he only had 2 more than that in the entire season. So how does somebody in that short of a period hit all those home runs? Were pitchers feeling sorry for him and grooving him pitches?
He has a great
I
trainer.
doubt that. Or, did MLB say, "Hey, it'd be kind of fun and get some ratings up if we use if we use tighter baseballs for Albert Pujols, and he can get him up to 700." Why wouldn't that logic apply to Aaron Judge, who was having a great season through July? Hey, let's go ahead and give him. Let's go ahead and do this for Aaron Judge too.
So who's to say
I'm
that
saying that
didn't happen for Barry Bonds?
because nobody wanted Barry Bonds to break the record. See, here's the thing: nobody liked Barry Bonds ever in his career. Nobody was cheering for Barry Bonds unless you were a Pirates fan when he was a Pirate, or a Giants fan when he was a Giant. Nobody liked Barry Bonds in baseball. He's one of the worstly, like, the writers hated him, the fans hated him. Nobody wanted Barry Bonds to break the record. This isn't Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, where everybody's cheering for both of them. This isn't Mark McGwire getting a big bear hug or giving a big bear hug to Sammy Sosa after he breaks the record. Happens to do it on when they're on the same field at the same time. This is not that. This is nobody wanted him to do this record. Nobody wanted it to be Barry Bonds. So he has asterisk. If you're going to give Barry Bonds an asterisk because of that, until I see proof that Aaron Judge did it with the same baseballs as everybody else was playing with, I want to put asterisk on his name too. And then that would mean, and then I don't even recognize Babe Ruth's records because he didn't play with a population that looked like the country. He didn't play against everybody. He didn't play against Latin players. He didn't play against black players. All right, Roger Maris did. Cool. He hit 61 home runs. Cool. Nobody liked Roger Maris except for the Maris family and then people now. Cool. So, hey, you know what? If you're going to start throwing around asterisks, we'll just say 61 still the record and go Roger Maris. Yeah, that's my thought.
Here's a point I'd like to make, and I've thought, and I was thinking about this before we started the segment. I think when it comes to the asterisks in the steroid era, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, I said to myself, I said, what other sport does steroids mean the least? I said, it has to be baseball. I said, and the reason I say that is because this is a non-contact sport in the fact that these guys aren't running out hitting each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they do. There is some contact with base running, especially when guys are coming home, etc. Right? But let's face it. Really, the only thing steroids does in baseball is it makes things a little bit more exciting with the home runs, right? And the reason I say that is because earlier I mentioned, a fight that got canceled. Connor Ben was juicing, got caught. If you're a boxer and you're juicing, you can end someone's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
An MMA fight or any combat sport. If you're juicing on the football field, right? Even though those are some big humans, if you're juicing on the football field, you can end someone's career quickly. Basketball, if you're juicing, I mean, there's a lot of contact in these sports against the other players. Baseball, not so much. You know what I mean? Yeah, does it
So
still have an effect? I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying that we discount baseball, but I said, if anything, it makes for more exciting games.
I think the one thing I would challenge you on is that you're looking at it from a health perspective. It
Yeah,
is a safety perspective. I would argue that the actual impact on the game is greater in baseball. It's just that you're not going to die unless you get plunked in the head with a baseball and then you have a helmet on, but you have a helmet on. But in baseball, the actual mechanics of what steroids would do would actually increase your abilities more than in say football. But the problem is that in football, the impact could be death for a player or serious injury. And that wouldn't
exactly.
really be the case in baseball because, they're not hitting each other with the bat. But I would say the actual impact on the game and the impact on the
That
performance,
might make more people watch it though.
that might see, and here's the thing, right? I love baseball. I'm a baseball purist. And but here's the thing. Numbers actually matter in baseball more than any other sport too. You say, 61 means something, 62 means something now, 73 means something, 714. These are numbers that I'm rattling off, 755. These are all numbers, home run numbers that mean something. Now, if you're talking about football, numbers don't matter as much. Stats don't matter as much. It's all wins and losses. Like, what was it last week? Aaron Rodgers threw his 500th touchdown. That wasn't even. It was barely like a side note, like a guy having a 100-yard rushing game. It was just
Because
like a
it's
little
Aaron
blur.
Rodgers. Nobody likes Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't think it
Yeah,
matters because,
fuck
like
Aaron
in
Rodgers.
baseball, if you like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much people hate you. In baseball, if you're chasing 500, ESPN is going to cut to that game so that they can, don't matter what's on right now, they'll cut to baseball so that you can watch each and every at bat of the guy who's chasing 500. Nobody cared that a player got 500 passes, a touchdown passes, and it's actually much more elite. Like there's a lot less guys who have thrown for 500 touchdown passes than have hit 500 home runs in their career. Baseball, the numbers mean something. They're like it, it's it's a whole different thing. The numbers are much more
Yeah,
important.
I
Stats are
mean,
much more important in baseball,
what
and
was it
that's why I think that
last
matters.
season?
Mhm.
What was it? I think it was like a record-breaking touchdown pass by Tom Brady, and
Mhm.
Mike Evans gave the ball away, and they had to
Yeah,
get it back. Remember that? It's
yeah.
like
Mhm.
if that were a
I think it was
baseball
600. I think it
game,
was over
right? Yeah.
600.
To your point, yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Fellas, we could talk about these topics all night. Final words. Final. Cut them off. Say what you got to say and get the hell up out of here. Keith, give you the last word, man. What's going on?
Last word again, in the words of may he rest in peace, Mr. Dennis Green. The Bears are who we thought they were. I've come to realize as a Chicago fan, uh, things are going to be painful. They're going to be painful. Think about my Cubs, and now you got their big cousins, the Bears. There's just something about Cubs and Bears. It just, oh my.
Go for the
Yeah,
White Sox. Sorry.
that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded.
Uh,
Nate, final words, man. Final thoughts.
so Keith dropped his name. I said I would get back to it. Ken Griffey Jr., a man who played the game, had the most beautiful swing, played in the steroid era, and is unquestionably not considered a steroid user. Probably the best player that's ever touched a glove or a bat. And he should be held in that regard, regardless of his home run numbers or anything like that. That man played the game hard. He played the way it was supposed to be played. Unquestionably, nobody has ever accused him of cheating. Ken Griffey Jr., greatest baseball player to ever do it. I never saw Willie Mays, but I'm still going to say Ken Griffey. So that's it.
They teach his swing in baseball schools, like schools where you go to learn how to play the game. They teach the Ken Griffey Jr. swing. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
Not even just a swing. What about the defensive plays he made out in center field? Breaking his wrist on the crashing into walls and robbing home runs. Just everything. Complete baseball player. Best baseball player to ever do it. People need to put more respect on his name. And whoever did not vote for him, he had a 99 Hall of Fame vote. Whoever did not vote for him should have their voting the rights taken away for the Hall of Fame. That's all I got.
Agreed. Chi-Town, go Bears. Fellas, it was a pleasure. Till next week.
See y'all.
Keith, go get some sleep.
Yep, gotta go.
All right, fellas.
All right,
See ya.
have a good one.